Hey everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have my Victober TBR. Victober is a month-long event in October hosted by Katie of Books and Things, Kate Howe and Lucy the Reader, and previously Ange of Beyond the Pages. It's just a month in which we come together and we celebrate Victorian literature. As with most read-alongs, there are some challenges, and as with most readathons, read-alongs, readathon, I will probably fail at it as I have done the last few years as well. I always create a rather ambitious TBR for Victober, and this year I have slimmed it down considerably. Last year I included tons of audiobooks, and do you want to know something? Most of those audiobooks are still on my phone and they haven't been listened to. One, because my headphones broke in June and I have yet to replace them, and two, because sometimes I think Victorian books, for me, always should be consumed in October or in the autumnal winter months, and I very rarely read them outside of that. But we will go with the challenges and I will tell you what I'm reading for that, or whether I just decided to avoid the challenge entirely and read something different. So the first challenge comes from Katie, which is read a Victorian book that equates to your favourite modern genre. Well, two genres that I always go for are fantasy or mystery. This book came recommended from Kate Howe, and so I decided that I would go with mystery for this one, and that is The Law and the Lady by Wilkie Collins. Last year I read The Haunted Hotel by Wilkie Collins. It was not a memorable book, and I did think that maybe I had an issue with Wilkie Collins' style. However, I've decided to give him another chance because here we have one of the first iterations of a female detective. Do I know what this book is about? No. And this, I suppose, is one of Wilkie Collins' more obscure titles. It follows the character of Valeria Woodville. I'm reading the back, so let's just read the back. Did Sarah McKellen die of poisoning? Who poisoned her? What was their motive? Valeria Woodville's first act as a married woman is to sign her name in the marriage register incorrectly, and this slip is followed by the gradual disclosure of secrets about her husband's earlier life, each of which leads to more questions and enigmas. I'm not going to read any more of the blurb. Most of the time, I don't know what's going on in classics anyway, but I'm going to try and get to this one. I thought it was relatively short, but it just turns out it might have thin pages. Next, we have Lucy's challenge, which is to read a Victorian diary or collection of letters. I know that in Lucy's video, she does actually give a list of places to look. I'm hoping I might have something in the big box of little black classics I have up there. If not, I will find something online maybe and read that, or maybe not. This is the one which I think more of us will find difficult, but is definitely a good one for getting more context about the time and the way people communicated with one another. So I think it's definitely a good challenge, just not one I've thought about yet. Next, we have Kate's challenge, which is to read a new to you book and or short story by a favourite Victorian author. For this, I actually have two writers, Elizabeth Gaskell and Charles Dickens. For Gaskell, we have Sylvia's Lovers. Now, a lot of people were recommending this last year, and they said that the town in this equates to Whitby. Whitby is one of my favourite places, therefore that's all it took to get me to buy this. But apparently this is the saddest and most tragic of Elizabeth Gaskell's books, and at 440 pages that seems like a lot of time for a tragedy to occur. With it being equated to Whitby, are we going to get any mention of the many shipwrecks and boating issues that happened surrounding Whitby at the time that you can see in their lifeboat museum? I don't know, but you know, Dickens covered a few of them sort of things, so we'll see. Either way, we have Sylvia's Lovers here, which, is it going to be about Sylvia and her lovers? If you didn't know, I got rid of my entire Dickens collection and repurchased it all from the charity shop, so the only book that I lost was the Mudfog Papers from Alma Classics, but I have George Silverman's explanation and sketches of young ladies, young gentlemen and young couples by Dickens. These are rather short, so hopefully I can read one or the other in October. We're not putting too much pressure on ourselves. Next, we have 4, which is the Reader's Challenge, which is to read a Victorian book from a previous Victober TBR that you didn't get to or one you've been meaning to read for ages. I have 2 books here that I recently purchased from the charity shop. Another Wilkie Collins, The Woman in White, which I have yet to read, but I have been meaning to read this since I was 13 and first had it recommended to me by my English teacher. However, since I do plan on reading another Wilkie Collins this month, it probably won't be this one. I also have The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot. Now, I did actually own another copy of this previously, but that was too musty for me to read, and I have only got this one because it was at work and I just wanted something else to be going on with. I have struggled with George Eliot before. I couldn't get through the audiobook of Middlemarch when I was listening to it last year, but we'll see. The one that I definitely think I will get to is The Warden by Anthony Trollope. I have an audiobook of this that I got last year, and I've been meaning to read Anthony Trollope for years now. And we mean years. I mean since I first found out about him. I owned books by Anthony Trollope in the past and just got rid of them. I know that my classics collection is dwindling somewhat and just has Dickens on it at the moment, which is why some of these books are on here. And then we have the general challenge, which is to read a Victorian book while wearing something Victorian/Victorian-esque. Someone pointed out I could read poetry for this. So I think I might do it. I might borrow a top hat or something from work or wear an overcoat that I bought, read some poetry, I don't know. And then we have a group read along of Shirley by Charlotte Bronte, which I don't own, but I'm planning on getting a copy. Another book by Charlotte Bronte that I will be reading is Jane Eyre, and that is for a read-along that is being hosted by Kate Howe and Emily of Nobel Novels. To fill even more of a Bronte void in my life, I'm going to be rereading The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I read this book as a teenager, and I don't think I got as much out of it as I will do now. I did enjoy it. At the time, I thought Anne Bronte was the best writer of the Brontes. I am interested to go back to this one. Agnes Grey, I thoroughly enjoyed when I listened to that book a few years ago. Admittedly, the second half much improves on the first half. I had this strange idea in my head that because I'm reading something from Charlotte and something from Anne, I should also go back to Wuthering Heights again. But every time I read Wuthering Heights or listen to it, I'm reminded of why I dislike that book. And I don't think that it's I don't think I should go back to it after another year. I really enjoy Patricia Routledge narrating that book though. I don't want it to become an annual thing that I listen to a book I dislike and try and find out why other people like it. I question whether it's best to avoid that book, to stop talking about how much I dislike it, because surely there's got to be something there for me to keep revisiting it, but I always think that it's just because I'm trying to figure out why other people like it so much. However, I know that I do have some of Emily Bronte's poetry. I might read some of that because I do prefer her poems. Some other asides for Victober, as well as listening to The Warden by Anthony Trollope, I want to listen to the radio drama from BBC4. This collection came into the shop last year and I didn't buy it because I have yet to experience any of the Chronicles of Barsetshire. However, I'm hoping that I can get through the books and then listen to each subsequent radio play over the next few months maybe. So that's a project that I'm taking on. Once I've read The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, I also have plans to watch the adaptation. I had no idea that there was an adaptation until it came into the charity shop. Well, I can already see that it has one of my favourite actresses in here. So yeah, Tara Fitzgerald, one of my favourite actresses. So hopefully I'm going to enjoy the book as much as I did when I was a teenager, and I'll enjoy the adaptation as well. I have Wives and Daughters, but I haven't read this yet. So should I read Wives and Daughters before I watch the adaptation? Do let me know. And them's the books. If I, by some chance, read all of these, listen to the audiobook that I want to listen to, and have time left over, I will probably try and listen to some of the other audiobooks that I have, but we're going to take it easy and just try our hardest to get through all of these books. I enjoy Victorian novels a lot and just don't think I give them enough time of day. Are you participating in Victober? Have you already got a TBR and haven't watched it yet? If so, link me in the comments. Also, have you read any of these books? Are there any that I should prioritise over others? Let me know. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.